You just typed google.com. Your finger is about to hit enter, and in the next 200 milliseconds, your request will cross your city. Get translated by a very stressed librarian. Shake hands 3 times with a stranger. Put on a disguise, and come back carrying an entire web page. Most people who work at your internet provider can't explain every step of this. After this video, you can. This is Packet Chan. Today, we follow her all the way to Google and back. Here's the first problem. Your computer has no idea what a Google is. Computers don't speak names, they speak numbers. Every machine on the internet has an address made of numbers, an IP address. Names are for humans. Numbers are for machines. Somebody has to translate. So before Packet Chan can go anywhere, she needs to turn this name into a number. And for that, there's exactly one place to go. This is DNS, the domain name system. Think of it as a library run by the most overworked librarian on Earth. Packet Chan slides her slip across the desk. Google.com, please. First, the librarian checks her own memory, because everyone asks for Google. This is called a cache. Recently used answers, kept close. If she's seen it lately, we're done in a millisecond. But let's say she hasn't. Then she works the phones. She calls the root library, which only knows who handles .com. Then the .com library, which only knows who handles google.com. Then Google's own library, which finally knows the number. 3 calls. Each one narrows it down. Nobody knows everything. Everybody knows who to ask next. Honestly, beautiful system, held together by caffeine. And Packet Chan gets her prize, an actual address. Now she can travel. Packet Chan arrives at Google's door, but she can't just barge in and start talking. The internet has manners. Before any real conversation, both sides must agree they're ready. It takes exactly 3 moves. She says, "Want to talk?" Google says, "Yes, do you want to talk?" She says, "Yes." That's it. That's the famous TCP 3-way handshake. 3 messages, and now both sides know the line is open, working, and going both ways. No handshake, no conversation. Yes, it feels bureaucratic. It's also why the internet mostly works. One problem. The path between you and Google runs through a lot of places. Your Wi-Fi, your internet provider, cables under the street, and anyone along the way could listen. So before saying anything real, Packet Chan puts on a disguise, encryption. This is the S in HTTPS. She and Google agree on a secret code, in a way where even someone listening to the agreement can't learn the code. Don't worry about how, that's its own episode. The eavesdroppers now hear pure gibberish, and it ruins their whole day. Finally, the actual request. It's almost embarrassingly simple. Get/, meaning, give me your homepage. And Google answers with boxes. The text and structure, the styling, the scripts, the images. Your browser unpacks everything and assembles the page like furniture. With better instructions than IKEA. 200 milliseconds, door to door. Cute story. Now let's watch it happen for real. Goggles on. This is Dig, the DNS lookup tool. The +trace flag shows every phone call the librarian made. Look, first the root servers. 13 named clusters that just point you at .com. Then the .com servers, they point at Google's name servers. And there, the A record. The actual IP address with a TTL, that's how long the librarian may keep it in her pocket before asking again. Now curl verbose mode, the whole journey in one screen. Connected, that's our 3-way handshake done. Here's the TLS negotiation. The disguise being agreed. Notice SNI. She tells the server which site she wants before encryption starts. Remember that detail. It matters in a later episode. ALPN says they'll speak HTTP too. And then, headers, status, content, the boxes. Every line here is a scene you already watched. Speed round, 4 things I skipped. 1. Your router quietly rewrote Packet Chan's home address on the way out. That's Nat. 2. You never reached the Google server. You reached the nearest clone of it. There are thousands. That's a CDN, and it's why everything feels fast. 3. Modern browsers increasingly skip the handshake ceremony entirely with a protocol called QUIC. Episode coming. 4. Here's the handshake in Wireshark. Real packets. There she is. 200 milliseconds. One heroic little packet. Next episode, the librarian gets her own story, how DNS really works, and how a single typo once knocked half the internet offline. Subscribe so Packetchan doesn't get lost on her way to you. Back up your stuff. Root out.